Hi, hey, it's great to see you all again. Since the 21st of May, I've been doing a series on self-love and self-esteem, with the basis being that the research shows us that the more love we have toward ourselves, the higher we hold ourselves esteem-wise, the more happy we are, the more healthy we are, the more successful we are, no matter what success means to you. And so I want you guys to keep raising your self-love or self-esteem in your lives so other problems start to dissolve. So in the beginning, I asked you to pick a number between 0 and 10. 0 being you have really low self-esteem, not a great deal of love or regard for yourself, and 10 being you are feeling super great about yourself and your life and feel like you're really good to go in most areas and so forth. So again, I want you to check that number or if you haven't done that before, pick a number now that represents where you feel you most are at, because we want it to rise. So there's a series of videos on my Facebook page, Cindy D. Whitmer, that takes you through different aspects of this, from how we talk to ourselves, how we think, the thoughts we have in our head, to how we language our lives, to 6 areas of self-care, because the more we show self-care, that means the higher our self-esteem and self-love is. So there's 6 areas of that I walked through with you. So that's kind of a quick synopsis of where we've been on this journey. And so the self-care areas being self-care of the body, the mind, the emotional heart, the relationships, financially, and spiritual self-care. So feel free to review those if you want to. They're always there. So today I want to ask you to think about the number where you put yourself. Like I put myself at an 8 in my life. And I want you to think about what are the strengths that you have in your life that really matter to you. So our strengths might be things we feel like we're really, really good at, or qualities that we behold that we feel are very positive. So things you're really good at, or qualities you behold that you believe are part of why you love yourself. For example, I love about myself how much I love people, how much I enjoy and delight in people. I just love people. And I truly enjoy getting to know people. I went to a rock fest in Kansas City over the weekend. I'd never been there before. And that is, for those of you that don't know, it's like a whole day of different bands and people, thousands of people come to this event. And you see people of many different lifestyles and styles and ages and ways they dress and how they act and how they sound and how they look. And I just basked in the people watching and visiting with people who were there. It was great fun. And that's one of the things I like about myself, is that I'm pretty comfortable with most people, and that I delight in other people's company, and I'm truly interested in other people. So I view that as a strength, especially, and probably part of why I do the job that I do. Weaknesses. So then I also want you to look at weaknesses, things that you do not feel you're good at, or you don't know how to do it all, or qualities you behold that you don't necessarily like about yourself. Okay, because okay, let's sit there with that for a second. So what is a weakness of mine? What's an example? One of mine is my lack of consistency in exercise. I go through phases where I exercise. I join a class, I do a thing, a routine I have going, and I can do it for weeks, months, and then something might happen and I drop it, and then it can take me a while to really get back into it. And so thus, well, this isn't the only reason, but so then I have 30 extra pounds I'm carrying. So this weakness in my life, which we're just labeling these things weaknesses, is part of why I give myself an 8 instead of a 10 in my ranking of myself with self-love, because it's a struggle I've gone through for many different reasons: emotional reasons, physical reasons, injury reasons. There's all kinds of reasons. But anyway, so it's something I'm still seeking my balance and peace around in my life. So it's definitely a weakness in my life. Part of why I do not give myself a 10 in the area of self-love. So, so I want you to identify your strengths and your weaknesses, because the combination of those two things should be what led you. Ooh, I don't like the word should. Did I just use the word should? Is the combination of those things probably is what brought you to the number between 0 and 10 that you chose for yourself. And also knowing the areas we feel good about and the areas we do not feel as strong about. You know, where do they land in those categories we talked about, those 6 categories? Like, you may be really strong in the mind self-care category and feel very weak in the financial self-care category. So this will help you take a really good look at yourself in those areas and say, oh, this is an area of growth for me. If I get financially healthier, I'm going to feel better about myself. So my number's going to go up, which is what we want. We want your self-esteem number up in the 8, 9, 10 range. Like, I'm just barely in there where I want it to be. I have work to do to get myself up to a 10 as well, and not just in the body area, but another area as well. There's 2 main areas for me that I know for sure I have a lot of growth opportunities. So, and I am working on them both. And so that's what I want you to do now or I really suggest you do, is again, look at where you find strengths, where you see weaknesses, and what areas they tend to be in. And then I want you to identify next the people that you find most supportive in your life, okay? Especially the top 5. Like, who are your top 5 people? I call them sometimes the 2 a.m. people. These are the people in our lives that we feel like we can call at 2 in the morning if we are in trouble, or we're stressed, or we feel alone, we need some company, or we whatever. They're the people that we can most rely on. So think about those 5 people, who they are. And you might think, well, I've only got 1. Okay, well, if you've got 1, just write 1. If you have 6 and you're like, oh, I can't eliminate 1 to make it 5, that's fine. I just want you to really have in your mind the list of these top 5 or so most significant close people in your life who support you, and share changes you want to make in this area. I want you to call on them and their strengths, identify their strengths, and how knowing them and having them in your circle can help you to grow in areas of self-care. And talk to them about what you want to do and how you're working on shifting this. And they'll probably be like, gosh, I could use help in this area, and let's keep each other on track. Anyway, that's really what I want, where I want you to go with this now. So find areas of strengths, find areas that you identify as weaknesses, look at patterns in certain areas that you find particularly challenging, and ask yourself, what do I need to do to increase my health and strength in this area? What can I do? What can I do today? What could I do this week? What could I do in the next 30 days to grow in these areas toward greater self-care, self-love? And who are the people in my life that I can most rely on to kind of walk the journey with me? I have to do the work. I take 100% responsibility for my life. However, part of that is calling in my troops, as I like to say, to support me in my life's journey. So I wish you all the best with that, and I will talk to you again soon. Have a great night.